Welcome back, Minecrafters. Gigahertz Productions here, and today I'm going to be showing you how to build this gold farm. But first, let's see how it works. So I guess first off, we have this nice little AFK platform here, so you get the most amount of drops. And one thing that you might notice straight away is that this farm... Oh, where'd he go? Hold up, where'd he go? Oh, there he is. See, this is the problem with this farm. There are magmas that spawn, and I don't think they really affect the efficiency of this farm, but we do put an item filter down here on the item sorter for magma cream, because you do get a little bit of magma cream from this farm. Which brings me to my next point. This farm does have a full item sorter, so you don't have to sort any of the items, and it smelts any of the gold swords that you get from the pigmen from killing them. Because with this farm, as you just saw there are pigmen that die, and you gotta watch out and collect the drops here because there's no hoppers here. And also pigmen that fall down to almost have all their health taken away, so that you can kill them and get some XP from this farm as well. So it is both fully AFKable and you can get some XP from this farm. So it's pretty simple to build. It just uses the game mechanic where pigmen, they like to stomp on the turtle eggs, and then you use the trapdoor so they think they can walk across, and then they fall down to the killing chamber. And then there's 8 layers, so it has, like, I'm not entirely sure how many blocks in total, but however many blocks each level is times 8. So quite a lot of space to spawn. And this gold can be used for your piglin bartering farm, which should be a tutorial that I come up with very soon in the future. So overall, quite a simple farm that does not require a lot of redstone, and it's pretty efficient and effective at getting the job done of getting gold and also sorting it out, which is very helpful. So let's jump straight into the build of this farm. Let's go! Okay, now to jump straight into the build of this gold farm, the first thing you're going to need to do is go up 7 blocks above the lava lake. So first off, you're going to have to splash on that fire resist potion of yours, or noob juice, and let's see if I can kind of get that glitch where you can see under the lava there a little bit. You're going to have to pillar up all the way from the bottom of the lava lake. But then above the lava, you're going to need to have a 3x3 pillar that is 7 blocks tall. Oh yeah, and I should mention that if I am using iron, you can use any type of solid block to build this. The next step is to choose 3 sides right next to each other. So we'll choose this side, and this side. And you're going to have to go out by 1 block and place in 1 block along all those 3 block long spots, all along on each side. So then we get a kind of 4x5 platform with these 2 corners missing. And now on either side, it doesn't matter, you're going to have to choose, because it depends which way you're orientating yourself with the farm. Place in 1 block, and then another block above that block, and then a block beside that block. And now with these blocks, we'll put 2 hoppers facing into those blocks, and then now we'll place hoppers all on top of this platform here, all facing into those 2 hoppers. So go ahead and place in all these hoppers. Okay, now that all these hoppers are placed, you can go ahead and break these 3 blocks on the edge here. Now over on this side where there's a big flat edge, place in 1 solid block either beside or on top of the hopper, and then place another block here, and then destroy either the block that's going to be here or here, so then you get this block here. And now place in 2 blocks beside that 1 block there. Now on top of all the hoppers, place in any type of slab, so you can have like cobblestone slabs or brick slabs or whatever type of slab you choose to have. And now on the other side of these 3 blocks, place in a nice little 3x3 platform for you to stand on to kill the pigmen. So now you should have the platform where all the pigmen will be falling onto, and then a platform for you to stand on, all out of slabs, so then there is no spawning spaces. And then on top of these 3 blocks here, place in 3 slabs. And now all around this bigger platform over here where the pigmen are going to be falling down, place in glass all around this platform. And you can have any color of glass, it just has to be this like glass block and not the glass panes. And now on each of these glass blocks all around, go up by 9. So on each of these blocks, go up by 9. So once when you have all those glass blocks, I guess, in, it should look a little something like this. Okay, now 2 blocks above this, so you're going to have to place it in 3 blocks and then destroy these 2 glass blocks down here. place in a row of 3 glass up here, and then go up to the same height as all these other glass blocks as well. So then you should have a nice glass chute just like this. Now at the bottom of the chute, place in 3 end rods over top of the slabs, and then this will protect us from any like pigmen trying to hit us, and we can still reach them if they fall here, and then you can like smack them there. Now this is where it starts to get a little bit repetitive. So place in magma all on top of these glass blocks, and it does have to be magma. It can't be any like other solid block like iron or cobblestone or whatever. And then in each of the corners fill in these 2 blocks, so then you get like a nice kind of ring. Now you can go ahead and place in 2 and 3 temporary blocks going out like that. Or sorry, only 2 temporary blocks, and then you destroy those 2, and this can be netherrack or dirt or whatever. And then you're going to place your turtle egg on top of that netherrack. And it can't be magma because turtle eggs don't go on magma. Now all around the center block, make sure you place in trapdoors all around it, and then flick the trapdoors into the downward position. Now on each row of 3 of the magma, place in trapdoors, and again flick them into the downward position. And do that for all 4 sides. So after placing in the trapdoors, it should look a little something like this, with your turtle egg in the center, and then all those trapdoors around to trick the pigmen into falling in. Okay, now on the outside of this magma ring, in the middle of these 5 blocks, place in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 magma blocks going out like this, and do that on every single side. Okay, now after placing in those lines of magma, you're gonna have to fill in everything in between, but we're gonna be filling in kind of a circular formation. So up on screen should be all the blocks like pattern that you need to place. So first you should do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The next one is also going to be 6, and then the third one is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, so it matches up in a straight line, and then the next one is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And now after the 9, it's going to be 8, so place in 8, and then the next one after that is also going to be 8, and then it's going to be 7, and then 6, and then 4. Then you should get a nice circular kind of pattern like this, and this will be the pattern going all the way around. So in each of these 4 quadrants here, or at least the 3 quadrants that we have left, place in the same pattern. And again, right now those numbers should be up on screen, so you do the 6 and then 6 and then 7 and then 9 and then so on until you have it complete. Okay, now that we have all 4 of these quadrants filled in, you can't really test it, but I can test it by placing spawn eggs of pigmen, or the zombie piglins, and everywhere around the ring you can see that they will go straight for that turtle egg in the middle. And if we were to place like 1 block further out, you can see that they don't actually go for that egg. So this is the most efficient form as possible in Bedrock. Now comes the repetitive part. So now 2 blocks above the turtle egg, so place in 2 blocks and then destroy the block underneath. Place in another turtle egg up here, and then place in 2 temporary blocks, and then make another magma ring the same as below. So basically you're going to be copying this level up 2 blocks 8 times, so you should have 8 platforms in total. So again, you're going to be placing in another magma ring 2 blocks above this lower platform, and then you're going to have to do that 8 times in total. So basically this, except for times 8 up into the sky. Okay, so now you should have 7 rings of this magma, plus also the one that we filled in down there, with all 8 of these turtle eggs in them. And as you can see, there are already pigmen spawning and falling into our little chamber down there. Now, after placing all these 7 rings of magma, now you're going to have to do the same thing. We're going out by 7 blocks on every single of the 4 sides on all 7 of them, and then also filling them in that circular-like formation. So, happy building, because you're going to be placing magma for a while. Okay, so now you should have all 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8 levels to this gold farm. which is a whole lot of magma. But now the next step on the top of the 8th layer of magma, we're going to have to spawn proof it from gas so you don't get all those nasty gas shooting at you and destroying all your hard work. So you just have to make a grid of glass that is 3 blocks apart each time. So go from this little like knob here, go 3 blocks in, and then 1, 2, 3, and then a block, and then 1, 2, 3, and then it ends, so you don't need a block there. And then 1, 2, 3, and then block, and you just make this grid pattern all the way around. Okay, so now at the top of this magma platform up here, you should have a nice grid of glass that are each 3 blocks apart, so it should look a little something like this. Now on each of the glass that you place down, place in 2 above it, and then after you place in 2 above all of them, then you're going to have to destroy the 2 glass that are below, so then pigmen can spawn down there. And it will still protect against gas from spawning. Okay, so now that all these pillars of 3 glass are in place, you can go ahead and destroy all of the 2 glass bits that are below that one, and then you keep the one to prevent gas. And on the topic of preventing gas from spawning, I have seen around this farm that there have been quite a few spawns going on around it, like on all these little netherrack kind of platforms here. So if you see any of these spawns happening around your gold farm, what you're going to want to do is spawn proof them by either placing in like pressure plates or slabs or trapdoors or buttons to prevent those spawns and to make your farm even more efficient. Or you could go with the option of getting a whole bunch of TNT and blowing up the like kind of platforms that are closest to your gold farm. And I do believe that you can even cover up these entire areas with lava, but you will have striders spawning, I think, but it will get rid of all of these guys from spawning, because nothing but striders can spawn in lava. So that is another option that is probably the quickest, rather than placing down all of these pressure plates to prevent them from spawning. So enjoy this quick transformation of the surrounding netherrack areas. Okay, so that was a massive amount of like spawn proofing, but now it is all done and this farm should be as efficient as possible, but there's still probably little nooks and crannies that have spawning spaces in them. But yeah, this took a little while, and this is completely unnecessary if you find a good spot in the nether where it's like completely clear and you have a massive open lava lake area. So this could be completely unnecessary, but I'm just showing you just in case you have to do it. So you can do a little something like this where you cover up the entire area in pressure plates, which does look pretty cool, but it takes a while. And then the faster way is just to cover things in lava, because you just take your lava bucket and then you just spam like lava everywhere. But you are going to need a lot of buckets if you're in survival, and probably a fire resistance potion. So yeah, now that all that spawn proofing is complete, we are down to the last part of the farm, which is the storage system down here. Now for this storage system, you can either just take these hoppers sticking out and just like build a whole bunch of chests and then like a little platform, or you can go the way that I'm going to show you and build in an item sorter. So then it sorts out all your items, and then things like the pigman sword get smelted up into iron ingots, or gold ingots, I should say. And so then they'll get put into like a automatic smelter, and then we get those gold nuggets there. Okay, now first off, to build this item sorter, we are going to have to place in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 blocks right beside these iron blocks on the side where these hoppers are facing out. Now on the last block, and these gold blocks here, these are temporary blocks, we'll be destroying them after. On the last of these temporary blocks, place in a hopper facing downwards, and then all the other hoppers have to be facing into that downwards facing hopper. So place in 9 hoppers facing into that downward facing hopper, and then you can go ahead and destroy all of these temporary blocks. Now on the third iron block, this one here, the one closest to the end of the hopper line, place in 2 more temporary blocks and then destroy this one here, and then place in 4 more temporary blocks after that one. So you get a nice line of 5 temporary blocks right here. And don't mind this little platform, this is just for me to like shift on to place in the hoppers. And now you can go ahead and make another row of 5 temporary blocks below those top 5 temporary blocks. So then you have a nice 2x5 little kind of wall here. And now into each of these temporary blocks, place in a hopper facing into them. So 10 hoppers in total, all facing into those temporary blocks. And now we're going to have to destroy these iron blocks down here just to make room for that nice item sorter that we're going to build. So go ahead and destroy this pillar here. Okay, once that pillar is destroyed, you can go ahead and remove all of these temporary blocks beside these hoppers. Or actually, sorry, don't remove all of them, you can leave one, so then you can go 1 block down and then place in another 4 because there's another line of hoppers that we need facing into these temporary blocks. So place in another row of 5 temporary blocks below those other 5 that we did earlier, and then another 5 hoppers going into those temporary blocks, and now you can destroy all of these blocks here. So you should have a long line of hoppers up top, and then 3 lines of 5 of hoppers all here, 2 from this end, and 3 from this other end over here. Okay, so now comes the redstone. So first we're going to place in a row of blocks along the second last line of hoppers, so these ones here, and then go ahead and place in 1 more row of blocks. Now place in 1 temporary block, and then another temporary block, and then 1 regular block, and then you can destroy those 2 temporary blocks, and then place in another row of 5 blocks down there, with another row of 5 blocks up here. So now you should have something that looks a little like this. Now on each of these lower blocks down here, place in a repeater all set to 1 tick. And now on the highest row of blocks up here, place in a redstone torch on all 5. And now place in a row of blocks above those repeaters, and then a row of blocks directly behind those repeaters as well. So now after placing those blocks, you should have something that looks like this. So like a T and then 2 blocks diagonal like that with the repeaters and then those redstone torches. Now up top, we're going to have to place in redstone comparators and place in 5 all facing out towards that way. And now on all 3 of these blocks, or all 3 and then in all 5 rows, you can place on redstone on all of these blocks. And now this essentially is our entire item sorter done. And if you see a light turn on here, that means that there should be items in that hopper. So you can go ahead and remove all of those items that are in any of the hoppers because the gold farm should be running a little bit, because you are far enough down for pigmen to spawn and then fall into the hole. So go ahead and take those items out. Now you're going to have to grab an anvil and any stack of items that will not be going into this farm, and you can name them anything you want, but I'm going to name them fill items. And so you can rename any stack of items to whatever you want. It's just to prevent other things from going through these hoppers. And now in every hopper, fill in 4 slots, so all the slots except for 1, with those fill items. And this will prevent any other items from coming through except for the 1 item that you put up here in this single spot left over. Okay, now that we have our fill items in all of the hoppers, and sorry about that, these should be separated, that's an accident. Now you can go ahead and place in chests or double chests if you want to on all of these 2 rows of 5. So you'll have 10 double chests or 10 single chests if you just want less storage, all along like that. So then you have this nice storage system like that. And now in the first 2 hoppers, you can place in your gold nuggets, and you should see it go down until 41, and that means that this item sorter is working. So it should go down to 41, and then it should stop. So you do need 41 items for this item hopper or item sorting system to work, But after 41 items are in there, then as soon as more items go in there, it will just go back down to 41, and then those extra items will end up in the chest. So in the first two, place in gold nuggets. In the third one, place in rotten flesh. And then in the fourth one, place in golden ingots, because you do get golden ingots from this farm. And then in the last one, place in magma cream, because you do get the occasional magma coming through here, and we do not want the magma going through into this way, because this is going to be our item smelter for the zombie swords. So then those also get put down into nuggets, and we don't want the magma cream clogging up that system. So you should have 2 hoppers with gold ingots or nuggets, one with rotten flesh, another with gold ingots, and the last one with magma cream. And now you can go ahead and destroy all these temporary blocks. Oh yeah, and just to check that your item sorter is working, just look in the chest and make sure that there is the correct items in there, and that there are no other items that shouldn't be in there. And now if you want to, you can place in item frames, then place in the item that is in those chests, so then you know where everything is. But this is optional, you don't need to do this. Now on these 2 last hoppers down here, place in 2 more hoppers, and both of them should be facing down. And then place in 2 furnaces below those 2 hoppers. Now place in 1 temporary block underneath the furnace, and then 2 in front diagonally. And then you can break this temporary block back here, and then place in 2 hoppers facing into that temporary block, and then break those 2 temporary blocks, and then place in a double chest. So then all the swords will flow into here, get smelted up, and then turn into iron ingots. Sorry, iron nuggets. And now beside the furnace you can place in 1 hopper, and on the other furnace you can place in another hopper. And then if you want to, you can place in a sign on here that says fuel, so then you know that fuel goes in there. So you can place in coal here, or your blaze rods, or whatever you have as your source of fuel. So I'm gonna go ahead and place in 2 stacks of coal in each of these fuel hoppers, and then that system should be good to go. And now you can destroy all of these temporary blocks except for 1 pillar, because now you can build a nice little platform for you to stand on to access this. So we have a little mock-up here of what you can have. You can have a little pathway going down to a nice little platform at your storage system area. But make sure that any blocks that you place are spawn proof, so then you won't have any of those zombie piglins spawning out here and not in the farm. And with this area you can get as creative what you want. You can build a massive room, or with lots of decoration. Go however creative you want to be. This right here, what I'm placing, is basically the dumbest, or the most dumbed down version that you can do. And now you can go ahead and break the last of those temporary blocks. So now this entire zombie piglin / gold farm is complete. And you'll see that if I smack some of these guys with my looting 3 sword, that their sword should end up in this furnace system and get smelted into nuggets that we should see any moment. There, see? Gold nuggets right into there. Or sorry, was I saying iron before? I meant gold. Then you should also see that all those other gold nuggets should also be coming into your sorting system. And as you can see, there is the problem with the magmas coming in here, but I don't think it affects the efficiency of this farm too much. So that's, I guess, the only thing I can really think of that's wrong with this farm. So I hope you enjoyed this tutorial on how to make this pretty efficient gold farm that gets you XP and can both run fully AFKable. Hold up! I forgot to show you where the AFK platform should be. Okay, so the AFK platform should be on the 4th platform, or the magma platform up. So go 1, 2, 3, 4 up. And on this 4th one, go out by 22 blocks. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, up to 22. Or sorry, actually 23. So go up. So place in 23 blocks, and then you can destroy all those other 22 blocks going back to the farm. And then so you can just build like a nice little tiny chamber for you to AFK in. So you can just place like in 3 blocks around that 1 block. Doesn't really matter too much where you AFK as long as it's around this area. And then just place up some walls and a roof so then you're protected from ghasts. And then you should be ready to AFK and get all the drops as possible from this gold farm. So as you can see, this is a super basic AFK platform where you just have a nice little window where you can see the farm, and look at, you can see the pigmen all falling down to their death. And it's not very convenient or accessible at all unless you have an elytra, so make sure you have one of those for using this AFK platform. Otherwise you're going to need to build like a big like bridge over and then tower. Oh, and another thing I forgot, again, make sure that it is spawn proof. Because again, you don't want all those zombie pigmen, or piglin I guess they're called, now to be spawning in here and then taking up some of the spawn rates for the farm. Okay, now to the outro. So I hope you enjoyed this pretty efficient gold farm where you can both get XP and a lot of drops, because it can also run through AFK abilities. Plus also it has that great item sorter, so you never have to sort through all those items, which can be a big pain and take up a lot of time. So I hope you enjoyed this gold farm, and make sure you subscribe and like the video if you want more tutorials from me, Gigahertz. But with that said, Gigahertz Productions out.